Illogic Lodge presents Notes from the Underground with Josh Berkowitz, where we talk to alternative storytellers, comedians, dancers, musicians, poets, and filmmakers about life, art, and we may just talk about nothing at all. Recorded live from Soul Journey Studios in Venice Beach, California. Yeah, so this is Notes from the Underground. This is presented by Illogic Lodge, and big thanks to Open Temple and Rabbi Laurie Shapiro. They're doing incredible stuff over here. And so I want to introduce you to Cheryl Fidelman, who's now a very good friend of mine who I'm about to start working with, or we've started now, on Danny and the Deep Blue Sea by John Patrick Shanley, which should go up possibly in June.
We got
a lot of work to do.
We gotta dive in.
Yeah, but Cheryl will be performing tomorrow night at UnPlug LA. You're going to do a poem, right?
Yeah, it'll be like a poetic story, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, we don't get to talk a lot about poetry. I mean, we're you got me back into theater, and we don't talk a lot about poetry, but we're both poets, but you're really a poet. Like I feel like you practice it a lot, or you have a lot of writings that you've done over the years, and you have a one-woman show.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best to hold steady in this conversation, because for some reason when it's being recorded and I'm having an interview, I find it really hard to just have like a normal conversation, knowing that we have headphones on and a microphone.
You're the first one who's acknowledged that. Everyone else has been like, yeah, like they put the headphones on, they go, ooh, yeah, let me go. Like Boise the other day, Boise Thomas, who'd be hosting UnPlug LA, who Cheryl introduced me to, and who I'm very glad I know now. He's like, hey, blah, 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 blah.
This is a perfect context for him.
Shit, he was just talking about all sorts of shit. Yeah, so yeah, it's all good. Well, yeah, you can acknowledge the microphone and headphones whenever you want.
Okay.
If you're feeling, we can talk about our insecurities the whole time. That's probably what we'll do. I'll talk about mine, then you could choose if you want to talk about yours. But let me preface a few things for a second. So you and I've known you for we met like 5 years ago almost. You were there when I first brought my band there. And I remember actually you were in the front row, and I think I had said, shut the fuck up, because you and a friend were whispering. And I thought it was something negative.
Maybe. I don't remember that part.
But you ended up being very, like, positive.
Yeah, at the time I was with my friend Ben Steinberg, who's an amazing musician, and he was my creative partner at the time, and we used to perform a lot together and at the lodge a lot together. And he would back my poetry and my stories with all different kinds of instruments.
I saw a few of those. Amazing.
Yeah,
really cool.
That was a great partnership, and he's a great guy, and just a real safety net to have accompanying me. And he would let me sort of mold his music the way that I wanted it to sound, and he didn't have like any ego about it.
That's great, isn't that nice?
It was so sweet. He was so supportive and just brilliant, and he was also really open to really avant-garde stuff.
Yeah.
And so when we saw you perform, I think we performed that night at Max 10, and then you performed with your like punk band, and
I was working at the movie theater at the time at the Landmark, and I just brought these three guys who worked with me at the Landmark sweeping popcorn, and like some guy who worked in the bar at the Landmark movie theater, and I brought these three guys, and we built a band together just for like a night, or just for like a couple weeks. And, anyways, it was a punk band.
Is that what it was, right? A punk band. And I mean, I've told this story a lot, and I'll tell it for the rest of my life, and I'll just never forget that night, because you had a baby pool, right? Did you have a baby pool on the stage?
Oh no, I had just like a little bowl with a watermelon in it with a
I remember a blue baby pool, but it was maybe that was another performer, but it was something with water in it, a bowl, I guess. And so you gave birth to a watermelon into the bowl. And then, I don't know, you were screaming like over and over and over again, I'm bisexual, I'm bisexual, I'm bisexual.
Yeah, I was talking about it with somebody last night. We had a 20-minute conversation
and
about
it. Me and Ben were like, oh my God, this guy's brilliant. This is amazing. That was my first introduction to your work. And I always say, like, your work can be so bizarre, like it walks out on the skinny branches of avant-garde and bizarre, but still remains accessible and real.
That's a nice thing to hear, because some people don't agree with that. I mean, or I've had periods of time, maybe you've caught me at times where I was embodied in both the skinny branches, because sometimes somebody just, people just don't get it.
Maybe it's, I'm sure it's not for everybody.
Right. I'm glad it's for you, and you somehow have managed to pull me back into theater. And we're working on it. We were just talking about how hard it's going to be to put this play together. But there's a lot of lines in Danny and the Blue Sea, even though it's only 40 pages.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of lines, and then all of the many, many, many layers underneath each and every word.
I feel like it'll be easier to memorize, or not memorize, but learn and absorb when we just like getting into it. I mean, that's the only way I can absorb and soak it in, is if I start to get attached to it and obsessive about it, then I'll learn it.
Yeah. And oh, absolutely. I mean, on some level, live and breathe it for the next 5 or 6 months. And for me, it's really getting intimately related with my own loneliness. Because I find that these characters are just so severely lonely. And proving to each other, I'm fucking more lonely than you. No, I'm more lonely than you. I'm more fucked up than you. No, I'm more fucked up than you. And then when they realize, like, oh my God, we're actually even. You're as fucked up as me, and you're as lonely as me. This must be love, you know?
Right.
And they have to torture each other until they get to that.
Yeah, I was starting to feel in our rehearsal yesterday, where I was really just trying to show Roberta, what do you mean? I'm an animal, But, you tap into
it. And you can't scare Roberta. You can't, whatever the fuck you got, you can't scare
That's threatening.
I can curse here.
Yeah, right? You can say whatever you want. I can say almost anything I want.
Okay.
But I don't know. I haven't agreed to that with Lori and Joel, but they're pretty open to things in general. I mean, let's just talk about Lori and Joel for a second.
Okay.
Because, well, you love them too, right?
Yeah. I do. I do deeply, yeah.
So do I. I mean, they, did I tell you about when I was doing the parking lot performance, and I was so scared because these performers, when you saw it twice, I think, these performers were in the rain. This was last month. This was January 19th and 21st as a part of the Lightning series. Jay Carlin and Lindsay Lolly have a group called Carlin and Lolly, and they did a performance back in December, and then again a full 40-minute version in January. And it was so much work.
This is the falling into me thing.
Sometimes I fall.
Sometimes I fall. Yeah.
Right. So I remember you were there when I was talking with Joel about letting them come back and do a 40-minute version, and you helped support that, and and then when we decided to do it, I'm like, man, now I got to worry about blocking off the parking lot and bugging the valet guy every day for 2 weeks straight to remind him that nobody could park in a third of the parking lot because we had to set up this set for them. And they push a car across the parking lot. So it's got to be safe, And then meanwhile, the rain's pouring that week. And they didn't know if they were going to have to cancel it, or people were going to slip, or they could call it off if they felt unsafe. So I agreed with that. So on the Wednesday night before the Thursday opening for them, they were rehearsing in the pouring rain, and their faces were going directly into puddles of rainwater and mud. And then this neighbor behind us, and I understand, she was like, what are you guys doing here? I'm like, we're getting ready for a ticketed event tomorrow. She's like, what? How the hell? Like, what? You're doing it inside. And I'm like, to the neighbor, I'm like, no, we're doing it outside. And I kept saying to her, like, let's just talk about this. Let's talk about this. She's like, we are talking about this. I'm like, no, you're yelling at me. We're going to talk. And she's like, can I? She's like, you guys need to let me know this. And I understand, great, but we're trying to push the envelope here. But basically my point is about Joel and Lori was I called them, and Lori picked up. I was like, Lori, I don't know what's happening. Like, the neighbors are upset. Like, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this parking lot performance. And Lori's like, wait a second. Wait. You're not canceling it. There's no way you're canceling it.
And then Joel gets on the phone and he goes, Josh, I don't care what they say. If the neighbors or anybody runs in the middle of the performance space during the performance, tell the dancers just do pirouettes right around them. Just right around them. And I was like, damn, these folks, these nice folks, these serious folks, Rabbi Lori Shapiro and Dr. Joel Shapiro, they got our back. And, it's scary keeping this place alive. And it's so precious. And and we're getting crowded around by all this expensive stuff around us, but I just really hope this place can just push forward for another 20 plus years.
Me too.
Right. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially now there's this real rebirth and recreation happening on this lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so if that rebirth can sort of have a life, a decade or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And I would love for the word to really get out about the Electric Lodge even more.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
that people who really want to preserve, local grassroots theater, can donate money to electriclodge.org.
Yeah, great. Yeah, absolutely. Or be on our board.
Click the donate button.
Yeah, click the donate button or get on our board and help us save this place. We need, this is, it just feels so important and I get so scared. But we're doing it. We're working on it.
We're doing it. And maybe that fear is pushing it to, pushing us all to work harder.
Yeah. I've been wondering if I'm a workaholic recently. It's like a new thing for me. Yeah. You just quit smoking cigarettes, right?
I did.
It's amazing. How's that going?
32 days smober.
Fuck. Did you
they
take
call
a chip?
It smober.
Did you take a chip?
I have chips.
That's awesome.
I do.
That's incredible.
Every time I get a chip, I cry. I'm like, thanks, guys.
Hell yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah. As you should. It's beautiful. 12 step saves. Apparently, I just heard that the Dalai Lama said that the 12-step programs were God's greatest gift of the last 200 years.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
That the program itself? Or?
Yeah, 12-step, the 12 steps, yeah.
Wow. I can really see that. I've been wanting to quit for a long time and I went to my first Nicotine Anonymous meeting, I guess it was like a month ago.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I raised my hand to share and I said, I really want to quit. I have no plans to quit anytime soon. But I'm going to keep coming to the meetings and eventually eventually I'll quit.
Yeah,
but
that's it.
I told everybody, I said, I smoked a cigarette on my way here. I plan to smoke one when I leave. But I'll just keep coming until I quit.
That's exactly
and
it.
48 hours later I quit and I haven't had a cigarette since, and I didn't think that's how it was going to go at all.
What do you think's behind that? What do you or we shouldn't even question it. Sometimes it's important to not even overthink it.
Yeah, I have this thing where I don't want to jinx it, but so I wrote a one-woman show that was about my relationship to cigarettes. It's called Ride, A Life with Tobacco. And I played 4 different characters where they all discussed their relationship with tobacco. And even when I was doing that show, I wrote the show, I performed it, I toured it, I did a bunch of theater festivals. I still didn't consider myself an addict. But the reason why I think the program works is because, for me, sitting in that room and placing my relationship with cigarettes into the context of an addiction is just a total game changer for me.
Right.
And even the first step, admitting that I'm powerless, it was like, wow, I really am powerless over this. This isn't a friendship, which I really related to it as a friendship. I really love cigarettes.
But your addict is your addict will tell you he's your friend. He's like an old friend, or he or she, excuse me, or it is like an old friend who's like, hey, come on, let's just let's chill out and let's have a cigarette.
Yeah, even last night I went out to dinner and I was thinking at dinner, fuck it, I'm gonna go home after this dinner. I'm buying a pack of cigarettes. I'm gonna smoke my fucking brains out. And that's for the last 20 minutes of the dinner, that's all I can think. I can't wait to just sit on my porch and smoke my fucking brains out. I didn't do it.
Yeah, how did you stop from doing it?
I just didn't do it. I don't know. I don't know how I didn't do it.
It's incredible.
But I I start to hear that voice as not me. It's not me. It's not a true desire of my heart. It's not me. It's something that's attached to me, which is the addiction.
Incredible.
When I sit in the Nicotine Anonymous room and people are sharing, the words that are coming out of their mouth are like this, are the same. They're saying the same thing that is going on in my head.
Yeah.
Incredible
characters.
Oh, this
in there,
isn't
right?
a unique relationship that I have with cigarettes. They're not my friend. They're my lover. They're torturing every single other fucking person the same way they're torturing me.
Listen.
Fuck, damn. Shit.
Right.
I wish it
Listen
wasn't
to
like
other
that.
people.
I wish it was a real functional relationship.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And it's had me look at all of my relationships and the illusion of each relationship that I hold, and it's been a big healing for me. And I can't wrap my mind around like never smoking again, but
Well, yeah, that's why they say one day at a time. Yeah, exactly. It's so interesting how you were one of the first interviews I did, just kind of on my own, not as a podcast forum, but this was for the November High Voltage.
Right.
And that was when you and I felt like, because we would see each other in passing all the time around here. So, I met you briefly, we saw each other perform in 2012. And then and then I started working here June to 2015. You've done a lot of work with Open Temple. I'd see you in passing or at other Max 10s. And, Max 10, by the way, for anybody who's never been there, it's a 10-minute laboratory where there's 10 performers, 10 minutes each, or you get up to 10 minutes each, maximum 10 performers. And it's the first Monday of every month, except for January and July. And that's really, Max 10's really what got me to first come here. I mean, was that what got you to first come here, or was it through?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It wasn't Open
You don't even
Temple.
remember.
I don't. I think it was Max 10. I'm not even 100% sure what event I first came to at Illogic Lodge, but I met Rabbi Lori at a Max 10.
Right.
I was. I had this piece that I did. And it was the piece that I did was I was playing a girl who was about 17 years old, and she was in a sex dungeon for her first time, and she was describing how bizarre she thought testicles were and how God should have done something different with them. And so I was performing that piece because I have a show that I've been writing for years called The Dungeon Diaries, and it's not complete yet, and hopefully someday it will be. So I did the testicles piece at Max 10, and Rabbi Lori, I think, was pregnant at the time, or pre first baby.
Yeah.
And then we started chatting.
She
and
saw the piece and she was like,
she saw that piece, and
she's so
she
cool
might
like
have
that,
seen another thing. I don't know. She saw a couple things, and then we chatted each other up, and like, she's a Jew from Long Island, and I'm a Jew from Long Island, and we just really sort of clicked. And she was just starting Open Temple, and she's like, you got to come to my services. So Open Temple was super small at the time, and just sort of planting its seeds, and brought Judaism back into my life, because I was raised Jewish, but after like 16 or 17, most of my adult life, I didn't really practice. I went to things if I was invited, but so I started coming to Open Temple, and it's just brought Judaism back into my life in such a rich way. And and that's how I started working with assisting on production here and there, and
it's
with
incredible.
Open Temple.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, in just a few years that I've known Lori, I mean, Open Temple has massively expanded and skyrocketed. And I remember her saying, do you see that house? And which is the house next to the lodge.
Where that we're in right now.
That we're in right now. She said, one day that's going to be Open Temple House.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago.
I was like, all right. Like, I didn't know if that was just a daydream or a pie in the sky thing. I was like, all right, cool. And now here we are.
Hell yeah.
In like a sound studio in Open Temple House, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm trying to think when this house opened, like, because when I first was here, it wasn't really it wasn't really here. I mean, like it was, I think AEP or something like that. Yeah.
It was what?
AEP, Arts Earth Partnership, which is a big.
And there was people living here in the house. It was being rented by
at one
tenant.
point.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. That's wild. I mean, this is all really important stuff, and
Rabbi Laurie is just a true visionary. And
oh my God,
a
amazing,
wonderful woman.
Yeah, I mean, were you there for my houselessness performance at Rosh Hashanah?
I was.
Yeah, right.
Another unforgettable.
That was
Josh Berkowitz performance.
I mean, but that was like a collaboration with Rabbi Laurie. Mm-hmm. So it was me collaborating with a rabbi, and
Josh was playing a homeless person outside of, what was that, Rosh Hashanah?
Yeah, outside of a Rosh Hashanah service.
And there were people who were like, "What's up with the homeless dude right outside our Rosh Hashanah service?"
Oh, people said that to you?
Yeah, like what?
Let's
I
get
feel
him out of
really
here.
uncomfortable, and I was like, "It's Venice. How could you feel uncomfortable? Like there's homeless people everywhere."
Right. Oh yeah, I remember you being there now.
And then there was a couple of people where I didn't tell them. I was just like, "Well, it's Venice, you know." And then some people, I was like, "It's a performance," and they were like, "Oh, okay." But it was, I mean, you know, it was real.
And then I barged in. It was so scary to barge in because the Torah was open, and Lori was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Buy." She's like, "Get a bunch of cans and bottles," and I stole a shopping cart from I won't say what company, but because I was just like panicked the night before, like I'm gonna mess this up. I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm not gonna be able to work at Illogic Lodge anymore, and but. It ended up being amazing. There was a guy who flipped out. I mean, Jeremy, you were there too. There was one guy who flipped when I barged in. I don't know if you saw when I barged in.
I wasn't there. I was out on an errand or something.
Oh wow! Well, I barged in at the end of the ceremony, or at the end of Rosh Hashanah services, and this older gentleman who was like 70 years old, who was acting like he was the security guard for the service. There's 200 people there. I barge in. And Lori told me to just like clank a bunch of bottles and cans together as loud as I could. So everyone whips their head around, and then this guy's like, I gotta save this whole congregation from this homeless guy. And he started like shooing me out. He's like, ow, like, good samach. Like, what do you do? I don't know if that's what he said, but he's like, you know, he's like, oh, hey, you know, and I'm like, oh, wait. Like, wait, where's the bathroom? He's like, I will show you where the bathroom is. And then, oh yeah, what happened after that? So people had given me donuts outside, donuts and apples. And so it sounded like it didn't make any sense. And apples. And I was like, yeah, the donut was out there. There was a donut. I was asking about that. And 200 people were watching me like make half sense. Uh-huh. And then I'm like, there's some apples out there. And then Lori's like, Rabbi Laurie's like, would you like to join us? I started coming forward, and the guy's like, he's like, this is a service, but you know, and I'm like,
really?
I'm like, is this a Jewish service? It's like, this is a, I'm like, is this a, he's like, yes, this is a people service. I go, I'm a people. Yeah, I might be Jewish too, you know. And I come up even closer, and then finally we had a real houseless person planted who lives on the Venice Boardwalk, and he stands up. And he starts doing like a slow clap. And he's like, yeah, everyone.
You guys brought in a real homeless person?
Yeah. We met Brandon Barney, Rabbi Laurie, this guy, Pat, and I met on the Venice Boardwalk for breakfast one morning.
So cool.
Yeah. So that was really when I felt like, for me, Open Temple and Illogic Lodge was a big, like, that was a merging moment. Yeah. You know, now this being in this amazing, you know, Soul Journey Studios in the Open Temple house is really great. And Jeremy Lawrence is really cool. You know, I mean, there's all these cool people over at Open Temple and you were really the two of you were really the first two people where I was like, oh, Open Temple's got like a really cool, like, people that I could be really close with. So I appreciate you guys for that. So, I mean, this is right. It's a campus now. It's like there's 3,
Jeremy with his supple upper lip.
Yeah. There was,
what would we do without it?
I won't say who, but there was a interviewee the other day who left here and she's like, he's beautiful. And she likes guys who have like a orangish, like a dirty blonde kind of thing. Yeah. So, yeah, no. Well,
she likes gingers.
Yeah.
Call me a ginger.
Yeah. She likes gingers. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, he is. He's a very kind man too. And she's like, yeah, he's very kind.
He's very kind. She's like, I don't date mean guys anymore. Yeah, but Jeremy's taken by a wonderful woman, so.
Well,
For sure.
Yeah.
Said I was kind.
Yeah, what's that?
Tell his girlfriend someone said he was kind.
It's amazing because Jeremy's listened to me do all this, like, I've exposed a lot of things about myself this week. And so he apparently was like trying to sell his bed or doing some like serious, like with the house and moving and stuff. And he started like saying things he shouldn't have said because he's so used to me being so unfiltered all week about everything. So what do you like, where are you on the spectrum in terms of like filter, like conceal, reveal type of person? I mean, I think you're more of a reveal type person. That's why I think we probably get along.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a fairly open book.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
Yeah, I'd like to be. I don't know if we're talking about inappropriateness, but I'd like
We
to
can
be
talk
more.
about inappropriate.
I'd like to be more inappropriate than I am. Like I have
interesting.
severely inappropriate thoughts, but I feel like I act more diplomatic.
We had a pretty inappropriate conversation a few weeks ago.
Which one?
we were talking about penises and things like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Went on about-
In my apartment.
Inappropriate about penises,
Yeah, no, penises are natural. Yeah. Unless you
Penises are
unless you get a
natural.
plastic surgery penis. Yeah. No, I've heard you talk. I don't think you're not inappropriate. I don't think you're appropriate.
Okay.
the inappropriateness
I don't know.
seeps out.
Yeah, it can seep out. Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
wish you were more. What do you wish like you would say more?
It's hard to say because right now I'm having this contrived conversation with you. And so I'm not sure
How much to say?
I'm not sure how I'm being or if I'm even being myself.
No,
I
you
have
are
no
being
sense
yourself.
of.
This isn't contrived, it's underground.
Yeah, it's underground. Yeah, no one's listening to this. No one's hearing. No one's going to listen to this except for like 15, 24 people. But we're going to promote the shit out of it until it gets popular. So we're going to work with companies that can advertise podcast or that will team up to advertise, or not advertise, but just like find how do you make a podcast.
Well, do you think it would be
legitimate.
better if we stuck to get advertisers and get the word out about this if we stick to a particular topic? Because we're being all over the map.
Well, we talk about art, life, and nothing at all. I mean that's
art,
the,
life, and nothing at all. That's a great title.
That's
Is
the
that
underground.
the title?
That's
of this?
it's out, and people will hear this, but it's basically like Electric Lodge presents Notes from the
You know
Underground.
what I was thinking? We should actually play the intro and outro during the interviews.
Yeah, so you can hear
Yeah.
it, so you know what it.
And then you guys have a
Right.
hard start, like,
Yeah.
like, all right.
We talk to alternative storytellers, poets, comedians, filmmakers about life, art, and maybe we might just talk about nothing at all. That's it.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I didn't
because there were
explain
moments
it
in
to
this
you.
conversation where
You
I
got
was like,
scared?
oh, we're talking about nothing. Should we be talking about something? Am I doing this right?
How do you think Seinfeld got so popular?
Okay.
show about
well,
nothing.
Oh yeah. Well, that was his intended context. I didn't know that was our intended context.
Oh,
so
shit.
now I'm
that
cool
was
with
my
it.
intended context.
Oh,
I thought you
okay.
knew me. Of all the people, it's so funny. Like, well, I guess you're.
No, as a friend, I know that you and I could swim in nothingness conversation for hours. I just didn't know that was okay here, but now I know that.
Oh, totally okay. Did I look worried about what we were talking about?
No, I was just worried. No, you didn't look worried at all, and you're the leader, so I guess I should follow that.
Well,
Jews never get
But
worried.
that's
no, Jews never get married.
but that's how I roll. I mean, that's one of my one of the things that runs inside my brain constantly is like, this shouldn't be like this, or like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it right, or I should be somewhere else, or something's incongruent here. There's usually something that's incongruent on some level in most of my experiences in life.
You're a very kind person who, like, and very open and gentle person, but also you have those thoughts, I guess, sometimes. Which I guess you don't have
Consistently, and I'm
Right.
working on diminishing them. They used to be more, but
to be. Right.
I'm starting to have more moments where I'm like, okay, this should be the way it is right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I just, I think you're a very unique person. And
it sounds like a certain amount of experiences made you that way. Like you had a poem, just to kind of get to your poetry a little bit. I just saw you perform some poetry about a freak show or a circus, or was it Coney Island? We just did it at the Max 10 recently.
Yeah, it's about the Westchester County Fair.
Oh, the Westchester County Fair. Which is
it's kind of a popular fair where I'm from in New York.
Yeah. And there was something about one of the roadies, not the roadies, some guy was jerking off or something, the carnies.
Yeah, so it's about so the jingle to the Westchester County Fair was Westchester County Fair. So the story is about the story is about how I would, like, that jingle would play in my mind, and I would wake up in the middle of the night when I was a kid, and I would take a cab to the Westchester County Fair, and I would hang out with the carnies like at nighttime at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Would you? For real?
So maybe. So I would go and I would hang out with the carnies at nighttime, and I would sort of get like the inside scoop of this carny family, and I bumped into one of the carny guys, as the story goes, and he started telling me all the stories about the family. And one of the things that happens at nighttime is the guy, what you're referring to is the solar masturbation roller coaster journey, where the guy on stilts, he lives his life perpetually on 15-foot stilts. And I assume that it's because he has a mutantly small penis and he wants attention taken away from his small penis. So he lives on these 15-foot stilts. And every night he gets on the roller coaster by himself, and he puts his stilts up on the bow of the roller coaster, and he the roller coaster clicks up, and as it shoots down, as it's clicking up, he puts his hand in his pants and he puts his penis in his hand, and then as it's coming down, he has his orgasmic. He has an orgasm as it's coming down, and he screams as the roller coaster is coming down, but he times it because, if anybody hears him, they may think he's screaming just because of the gravitational pull of the roller coaster, but he's actually coming. So the bearded lady who had gotten to the point in her life where she was just so empty inside because she had exposed her deformity, for lack of a better word. She exposed her facial hair to the carnival goers so that they can forget about their own shortcomings, if not just for a few minutes.
I spent some time around a bearded lady, and it was really intense in terms of like not her being bearded, but her personality was really interesting. And I found myself gravitating toward her, and she was both very empowered and very insecure. Yeah, but I just wanted to plug that in.
That's kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
So she timed her suicide with the stilted man's orgasmic plunge from the roller coaster. So she was on the Ferris wheel. She got to the top of the Ferris wheel when the man on stilts was, screaming in his orgasmic roller coaster plunge. She jumped off the Ferris wheel and committed suicide. And so she, nobody heard her land. And so anyway, that's part of my carnival story that you're talking about. And it's somewhat inspired by my own facial hair because I shave my face every day.
Really?
I shave my cheeks and my neck and my chin.
Well, you look great. It's amazing.
So, and it's pretty hardcore. I mean, you'd kind of never know. I'm kind of lucky because I don't get razor burn on my face, and it looks smooth, and it looks like I don't have that situation happening, but I do. Wow. When I go home to visit my family in New York, in the morning, I'll tell my nieces, I'll be like, touch my chin. So that they can touch they can touch my stubble. And my brother's like, why the fuck do you make him do that? That's so weird.
You love your nieces. You were talking about such love for your nieces. I have a new nephew, which I'm very excited about. His name's Jude. You were talking about your nieces and how much you love them and that you're sad because they're over in New York. And
yeah. I think about them constantly. I love them so dearly. It's a really powerful love. And Sydney and Farah, they're amazing and beautiful. And I don't have any children of my own. I can't even imagine what a mother's love is like because I'm an aunt on the other side of the country. And I'm just like, the love is like so intense within me for them. But I'm going to visit them next month, which I'm really excited about.
You were talking about like some people, they think, we might have been discussing this, they think a kid's so cute. They're like, I could eat him. Like, I could just eat him. I think you were mentioning that. Oh, we were talking about Punch Drunk Love, about the eyeballs.
Oh, yeah.
What was the line? Like,
just something like, I love you so much. I'm going to scoop your eyeballs out and chew on them.
I just told you somebody, and I had like, somebody who I was with, but no longer. She said to me, I could hug you and break your bones. And I was like, wow, that's so romantic.
Yeah.
It gives me such a warm feeling that someone would threaten to break my bones. And like, my ex-girlfriend used to tickle me to the point of serious pain. But because her face was like, had this fucking ear to ear grin, it was like really amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's love can be so deep and so visceral and so all-encompassing. It's like sometimes I don't even know what to do with myself or do with the other person. What do I do with this feeling? It's so big. Right. It's so big.
Right.
It's so big and powerful and beautiful and you just want to sort of like invade somebody else's completely private space and just like squeeze them till they can't breathe like a teddy bear.
Right. It's so funny because I've learned so many words through therapy and all this stuff, like enmeshment. Like that's enmeshment. That's codependency. That's manic. But I'm trying to also like get away from those words because yes, those things are all possibly true or diagnoses for these things, but the human experience is fucking messy. So that's our, lesson for the day. And we're gonna, so Cheryl Fidelman tomorrow night at UnPlug LA you're gonna be doing a poem. Does it have a name or a poem story? Does it have a name for the piece?
I'm working on this piece about free will. I don't know if it's going to be done by tomorrow night, and if it's not done by tomorrow night, I'm going to be reading this piece called Sachi and Me, and it's about a nervous breakdown that I had on a black sand beach in Costa Rica.
Hell yeah. Sweet. Well, I feel bad about that. Unfortunately, don't have time to get into that, but I'll hear it tomorrow night, so come to UnPlug LA tomorrow night if this podcast is up and you get to hear it somehow. So I have so much love for you.
I have so much love for you.
I know, and we've gotten to know each other so well. And so it's so funny as you were trying to navigate like what the fuck this podcast was, but you get it now, and we could literally come back on. You could come back on next week.
I get it now.
Pretty cool. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
This has been Electric Lodge Presents Notes from the Underground with Josh Berkowitz. We hope you enjoyed and tune in next time. Recorded live from Soul Journey Studios in Venice Beach, California.